Good morning friends. In today's class we are going to see about the transformer and its construction. So the transformer working principle. Here is the basic diagram of the transformer. So this square box represents the magnetic core of the transformer. So in between this the dotted line represents the magnetic flux. So upon magnetic core there will be a primary winding as well as the secondary winding. So whenever we are exciting this winding through the external AC supply, there will be a magnetic flux. So the induced flux will produce the EMF according to the Faraday's law of induction. So actually the transformer working based on the mutual induction principle. So the mutual induction states that when the two coils are inductively coupled and its current in one coil changed uniformly, then EMF gets induced in the other coil. So because of the primary winding induced EMF, the secondary winding will get the induced EMF across the secondary part. So the actually how we are deciding the primary winding and secondary winding. So wherever we are connecting the supply, that winding is called the primary winding. So wherever we are connecting the load, that winding is called the secondary winding. So getting the EMF at the secondary winding due to the supply voltage at the primary side is called self-induction. So the transformer actually working based on the principle of self-induction. So now I'm going to show you a animated video of the working principle of the transformer. Listen it.
Transformer is an electromagnetic static device in which input is in form of electrical energy and output is also in electrical form. Also, the input and output both are in alternating form. Primarily, transformers are used to change level of voltage and current. For example, in case of step-down transformer, the input high voltage is transformed to a low voltage, whereas the magnitude of current is increases because input and output power has to be remain same. Working of a transformer can be understood by taking a simple example of a small piece of wire carrying current when it is connected to a battery. As a result, a magnetic flux gets set up around the conductor. If another piece of wire comes in the vicinity of this flux, an electromotive force is get induced in the conductor, which we can see here form deflection in needle of a galvanometer. But after some time, deflection becomes zero. Because both conductors are stationary means there is no relative movement between them. This is known as dynamically induced EMF. Further, we can also experience that EMF is again induced in the second conductor when we remove battery. This is because of reduction in flux density around the first conductor, and the second conductor try to oppose this change in flux as per Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. The magnitude of EMF induced is given by E2 is directly proportional to d phi by dt. This electromagnetic coupling between the 2 conductors can be improved by 2 methods. Number 1. Why using coil on both sides instead of using single wire? This results in increase of flux. Number 2. By using a magnetic core between the coils, which gives low reluctance path to the flux and improve magnetic coupling between the coils. As you can see here, in this case, coil of left side, or we can call it primary coil, has lesser number of turns than the coil on right side, or we can call it secondary coil. And the transformer is called as step up transformer. In this case, voltage which induced on secondary coil V out is higher than the voltage which is applied V in on the primary coil, whereas the current get reduced as the power has to remain constant. Similarly, when primary coil has more number of turns than the number of turns in secondary coil, the transformer is called as a step down transformer, and the voltage induced on the secondary side V out is less than the applied voltage V in on primary side. The core which is practically used in a transformer is actually not a solid core. It is made up of number of thin sheets of metal called laminations. This type of construction is used to reduce eddy current loss, which occurs inside the core when it carries changing or alternating flux. As core is used to provide a low reluctance path to the magnetic flux, but the core is subjected to circulating electric currents. These circulating currents, called eddy currents, produced heating and energy losses within the core, results in decreasing the transformer's efficiency. This circulating current is produced mainly due to EMF induced in the iron core, as it is constantly being subjected to the changing magnetic field set up by the external sinusoidal supply voltage Vn. To reduce these unwanted power losses, thin steel laminations is used to construct the transformer core. Laminations are made up of highly permeable material, that is silicon steel. These laminations are assembled together to build a solid core. The resistivity of the steel sheet itself is high, reducing the eddy current losses while making the laminations very thin. The thickness of these laminations is vary between 0.25 mm to 0.5 mm, and as steel is conductor, laminations are electrically insulated from each other by a very thin coating of insulating varnish or by the use of an oxide layer on the surface. The problem with the construction which is so far discussed here is that the two windings are well separated from each other, and there is considerable reduction of magnetic coupling and hence the efficiency of the transformer. This disadvantage can be overcome by using constructing core like this, in which the two windings are bring close to each other, thereby improve magnetic coupling between them. Hope now you have a little bit idea about principle of working of electrical transformer and about
the construction of the transformer. There are two important parts in the construction of the transformer. First one is magnetic core. So the core actually provides the path to the magnetic flux. So because there are two losses in the core, magnetic core. One is the hysteresis loss and another one is eddy current loss. So to minimize the hysteresis loss, we have to keep our core with high permeability material. So usually we will be using as a silicon steel as a material. So to minimize the eddy current loss, we have to laminate the core path. That is a very thin lamination. It's about 0.5 to 0.77 mm. Then the second important part is winding or coil. So there are two types of winding. One is the primary winding and another one is the secondary winding. So the primary winding is the winding which we are connecting to the supply, and the secondary winding is the winding which we are connecting to the load. So the current passes through the winding and it will produce the magnetic flux. This flux will induce the EMF across the transformer at the primary winding. So the induced flux will linked with the secondary winding. So it will again will produce the EMF across the load. So these windings are made up of the copper. So these windings are insulated from each other, and the windings are subjected to a I squared R loss or copper loss. I squared R loss or copper loss. Okay. About the insulation. So paper is still used as a basic conductor insulation. Enamel insulation is used as a interturn insulation for low voltage transformer. So for power transformer we are using a paper insulation with the enameled copper. Then about the insulating oil. The oil used for transformer protects the paper from the dirt and moisture and removes the heat produced in the core and coils. It also acts as an insulating medium. The oil must be possess the following properties, that is high electric strength, free from the inorganic acid, low viscosity, like that. Okay. So then next part is expansion tank or conservator. A small auxiliary oil tank may be mounted above the transformer and it is connected to the main tank by a pipe. Its function is to keep the transformer tank full of oil despite expansion or contraction of the coil with the change in the temperature. Then the next one is every transformer is provided with a temperature gauge to indicate the hot oil or hottest spot temperature. Okay, then next one is oil gauge. Then oil gauge function is the oil gauge may be provided with the alarm contact, which gives an alarm when the oil level has dropped beyond the permissible height due to the oil leakage or due to the any other reason. Next one is Buchholz relay. So the first warning that fault occurred may be indicated by the presence of bubbles in the oil. If the transformer is fitted with the conservator and there are no pockets in which gas can collect, so the gas bubbles will rise up the pipe joining with the conservator. So it is possible to mount gas operated relay in this pipe to give alarm in the case of minor fault and disconnect the transformer from the supply mains in the case of severe faults. So for that purpose we are using this relay. Then about the types of the transformer, the main two types are core type, another one is shell type. Here in the core type you look, so the windings are encircle the core. The windings are encircle the core. Here the core is surrounded by the winding. So the current will produce, there are only one magnetic flux path here in the core type. But in the shell type you look, if you are keenly looking the diagram, you can see the difference. The core is encircled with the winding. The core encircles the winding. So the core is outerwards. The winding is inner winding, that is the blue color and yellow color. So here the core encircles the winding surrounded by the core. So there are two magnetic flux path in the shell type transformer. EMF equation of the transformer. Here all the terms represent the expansions. So kindly look for it. For the equation. So we know that average rate of change of flux is d phi by dt. So phi represent the maximum flux with respective time. Okay, here in this sinusoidal waveform, we will get the maximum flux at t by 4 cycle. Okay, so we will get the full flux at the t cycle. So maximum flux we will get by t by 4 time period. So t equal to 4f. So that substitute in that average flux value. So if you are substituting it, you will get phi. That is here it is pi m divided by 1 by 4f, because we know that t equal to 1 by 5. Okay, so the average flux value will be pi m into 4f vapor per second. The EMF equation. So we know that RMS value always equivalent to form factor into average value. The form factor will be the ratio of RMS value to the average value. So here in this case for the sinusoidal waveform, we already know the value of form factor for the sinusoidal waveform, that is 1.11. So substitute all in the third equation. So we can get RMS value of EMF per turn equal to 4.44 pi m into f. This will be the value. So again, if RMS value of EMF induced in the entire primary winding. So if you are calculating for the entire primary winding, we have to multiply the number of coils in the primary winding. For similarly, for the secondary winding, E2 equal to 4.44 into F into pi m into N2, number of coils in the secondary winding. Then pi m equal to Bm into A. So here Bm is nothing but the flux density. Pi m is the maximum flux in the core. Okay. A is the area of the core. So that we know. So we have to substitute 7 in 5 and 6. That is, so if you are substituting pi m value in the fifth equation means that is 4.44 f into bm into a into n1. Okay. Similarly, if you are substituting seventh equation in the sixth equation, so we will get, that is, we just substituting the pi m value, that's it. So we will get the same equation. So from this two equation we can conclude that E1 is directly proportional to N1 and E2 is directly proportional to the N2. So what is E1? E1 is the EMF induced at the primary side, that is directly proportional to the number of coils in the primary winding. Similarly, E2 EMF at the secondary winding will be directly proportional to the number of turns in the secondary winding. Then transformation ratio. So in ideal case, the terminal voltage at primary side, that is V1, supply voltage at V1, primary side is equal to V1, that is equivalent to E1. Similarly, the terminal voltage V2 equal to E2. So we know that V1 I1 equal to V2 I2. So from this equation, we can conclude that V2 by V1 equal to I1 into I2. So as we know that V1, so as we know that V2 equal to E2. So here I am substituting E2 divided by E1 equal to I1 into I2. So from this equation I can go for this one. So we know that E2 by E1 equal to N2 by N1 into V2 by V1. That is indirectly proportional to the or inversely proportional to the I1 divided by I2. That is the transformation ratio K. So if K is greater than 1 means the number of turns in the secondary winding will be greater than the number of turns in the primary winding. That is called the step-up transformer. So if the number of turns in the primary winding will be greater than the N2 means that is the step-down transformer. Based on EMF equation, we are going to see problem. The first problem is the primary and secondary voltage of 25 kilovolts ampere power transformer are 2200 volts and 220 volts respectively. The transformer has 56 turns in the secondary. Calculate the number of turns in the primary. So we know the relationship already. So before that we will find out what is the given data. So the given data are first the primary winding voltage is V1, that is 2020, that is given. Then secondary voltage that is 220. Then they given the number of turns in the secondary winding. So 56, that is 56. So we want to find out what is N1. So we know the relationship between the V2, V and N, that is V1 by N1 equal to N1, that is directly proportional. V1 divided by V2 equal to N1 divided by N2, directly proportional. So if we are substituting all the values, we will get the N1. The single phase transformer has 400 primary and 1000 secondary turns. Net cross sectional area of core is 60 centimeters square. If the primary winding is connected to a 50 Hz supply at 520 volts, calculate the value of maximum flux density on a core and the EMF induced in the secondary. So the given data are N1, that is 400 turns they given. Then the area they given, area of the core they gave, that is the 60 centimeters squared. So if you are converting to the meter, it becomes 60 into 10 to the power of minus 4. Again, in the E1 voltage is 520 and N2 is 1000 turns and F is equal to 50 Hertz. So in order to find, we should get the value of maximum flux density and EMF induced. So we know the formula of EMF induced. So that is 4.44 into F into pi m into N1. So for the maximum flux density, if you'll get pi m means, sorry, that is the flux induced across the core. That is pi m equal to E1 divided by 4.4 into F into N1. So if you are substituting all the value, we will get the pi m value. So from the pi m value, we should get the maximum flux density, that is Bm. So we know that maximum flux density is equal to flux across the core to the area of the core. So if you are substituting both the values, we will get Bm, that is in terms of Weber per meter square. Then secondary induced EMF we should find. So we know the relationship between the EMF and the number of turns, that is directly proportional. E2 divided by E1 equal to N2 divided by N1. So if you are substituting all the value except E2 means we will get the value of EMF induced across the secondary winding. Thank you.